Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It was a cool afternoon in Los Angeles, with the sun filtering through the palms and casting long shadows on the cliff house overlooking the Pacific. John Finnegan had just concluded a lengthy shift at the hospital, and his head was still racing with the typical craziness of emergency and consults. He pulled into the driveway of the home he shared with his wife, Steffy Forrester Finnegan, and their two children, Hayes and Kelly. The house was a haven, a place where the Forrester family drama and the lingering shadows of his birth mother, Sheila Carter, appeared to dissipate, if only for a minute. Steffy was out running errands with the kids, giving Finn a rare hour of peace to unwind. He poured himself a glass of water, browsed through his phone, and considered surprising her with dinner when she returned. Life had been going well lately, stable even. Finn and Steffy had recommitted to each other following all of the turbulence caused by Luna's machinations, her alleged death, and the revelations that had shaken their world. Their marriage seemed stronger than ever. The doorbell rang unexpectedly. Finn frowned. They didn't anticipate anyone. He laid down his drink and headed to the front door, which opened to reveal a woman standing on the porch. She was in her mid-30s, with long auburn hair pulled back into a ponytail and a modest sundress that fluttered in the breeze. Her face was recognizable, but it took him a second to recognize it. His gut fell when he realized what was happening. "Emma?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Emma Barrett smiled uncomfortably as her green eyes met his. "Hi, Finn. It's been a long time." Finn remained transfixed at the doorway. Emma had been his girlfriend during medical school before he relocated to Los Angeles and met Steffy. Their relationship had been intense, young love fueled by late-night study sessions and shared ambitions to save lives. But it had ended terribly. Emma had struggled with mental health concerns, growing more possessive as Finn's professional expectations increased. The breakup had been acrimonious, and she accused him of abandoning her in her darkest moments. He had not heard from her in over a decade. What are you doing here?" Finn inquired, reflexively stepping aside to allow her in, despite his instincts telling him this was a horrible idea. Emma entered the living room and looked around at the family images on the mantel, photos of Finn and Steffy on their wedding day, Hayes as a newborn, and Kelly laughing on the beach. "Nice place," she commented softly. "You've done well for yourself." Finn closed the door and turned to face her, maintaining a respectful distance. "Emma, how did you find me?" "It wasn't hard," she said, sitting on the side of the couch without being asked. "You're married to Steffy Forrester. The Forrester family is kind of famous around here. I saw some articles online and, I don't know, I just needed to see you." Finn's pulse was racing. This cannot be good. "Why now? After all these years?" Emma asked as she twisted a ring on her finger. She took a long breath, as if to build confidence for something monumental. "Finn, there's something I need to tell you. Something I've kept hidden for far too long." He felt a shiver run down his spine. "What is it?" She looked into his eyes again, tears welling up. "We have a son." The words hung in the air like a bomb detonating in slow motion. Finn's world tilted. "What?" "Back when we were together, right before you ended things. I found out I was pregnant. I was scared, Finn. You were pulling away, focused on your residency, and I didn't want to trap you. My family pressured me to handle it on my own. So I did. I moved away, had the baby, and raised him by myself." Finn stumbled backwards and rested his head on the wall. His mind whirled. "A son? All these years? Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried once," Emma responded, her voice breaking. "I called you a few months after the breakup, but you had already moved on. You sounded so distant. And then I saw pictures of you with Steffy online years later, happy, married, with kids. I didn't want to disrupt your life." Finn was brushing his hair as he walked around the space. "Emma, this changes everything. Where is he? How old is he?" "His name is Ethan. He's 12 now. He's a good kid, Finn, smart, kind. He looks just like you. Dark hair, those eyes." She took out her phone and showed him a photo of a boy with Finn's features, smiling during a soccer game. Finn stared at the television, his throat tightening. The likeness was undeniable. Emotions filled him: shock, wrath, guilt, and a weird sense of protection. Does he know anything about me? Emma shook her head. Not yet. I told him his father was a doctor who lived far away, that it just didn't work out. But he's starting to ask more questions. He's old enough to understand now. And honestly, Finn, we've been struggling. Financially, emotionally. I thought maybe it's time he met his father. Finn sank into a chair, his medical training kicking in to keep him from hyperventilating. A secret child. Just like his own beginnings with Sheila, Jack, and Lee. History repeats itself in the most brutal way. I can't believe this. Steffy, my family. I know you're married, Emma added hurriedly. I'm not here to break that up. I don't want anything from you except for Ethan to know his dad. Maybe some help with school, or I don't know. But he deserves to know you. The front door opened, and Steffi's voice cried out. Finn, we're home. The kids are starving. She entered with Hayes on her hip and Kelly running after, grocery bags in hand. When she noticed Emma, she came to a complete halt. Who's this? Finn jumped up, his face blanched. Steffy, this is Emma. From a long time ago. Steffi's eyes tightened as she laid Hayes down and instructed Kelly to go play in her room. The anxiety in the air was palpable. An ex, she guessed, her tone harsh. Emma stood awkwardly. Hello, I apologize for intruding. I was just leaving. No, Steffy replied firmly. If you're here talking to my husband, I want to know why. Finn stared between the two women, his heart hammering. Steffy, we need to talk privately. But Emma interrupted. It's fine, Finn. She should hear it too. She turned to Steffy. I was Finn's girlfriend before he met you, and we have a child together, a son. Steffi's face turned pale. She glanced at Finn, betrayal and shock on her face. What? The room erupted into turmoil. Steffy demanded information, her voice increasing as the children's laughing echoed upstairs, oblivious to the bombshell. Finn attempted to explain, but words failed him. Emma provided the timeline, photographs, and proof. Steffy paced, tears running down her cheeks. How could you not know? How could you keep this from me? I didn't know. Finn was steadfast. She never told me. Steffy chuckled cruelly. Just like your crazy birth mother hid things. Secrets, Finn. Always secrets in your family. Emma eventually excused herself, pledging to give them space, but maintaining Ethan deserved a chance. She said, call me when you're ready, and left her phone number. The door shut, and silence descended. Steffy sank onto the couch and sobbed. Finn sat next to her, reaching for her hand, but she pulled away. A son? Older than Hayes? Finn, this changes our whole life. I know, he said incoherently. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. The secret gradually revealed itself over the next few days. Finn met Ethan in a neutral park. The boy was shy, but curious. The likeness was uncanny, and Finn felt an instant bond, a paternal pull he'd only experienced with Hayes. Ethan was clever, liked soccer, and had tentative questions about why his father hadn't been present. Word traveled swiftly in the close-knit Forrester-Logan-Spencer circle. Ridge and Taylor were sympathetic yet cautious, warning Finn of possible ulterior intentions. Lee, Finn's adoptive mother, was furious, not at Finn, but at Emma for keeping it hidden for so long. Another secret child, she mumbled, mirroring Finn's pain at his origins. Steffy struggled the most. The nights were full with arguments. Do you want to play happy family with her now? She'd demand. Finn repeatedly reassured her. You're my wife. Our family is here. But I can't abandon him, Steffy. He's my blood. Hope Logan, ever the empath, offered Steffy a shoulder, while Liam Spencer chuckled covertly, seeing an opportunity to re-enter Steffy's life. If Finn's got this baggage, he said Bill, maybe Steffy's better off. But Steffy loved Finn deeply. Therapy sessions proved beneficial, as did mediated family meetings with Emma and Ethan. Boundaries were set. No disruption to the Finnegan household, and gradual assimilation. Months have passed. Ethan paid him periodic visits, connecting with Hayes and Kelly, who foolishly referred to him as Big Brother. Emma maintained a romantic distance while focusing on co-parenting. Finn and Steffy sat on the veranda one evening, watching the sun set over the ocean. "I never imagined this," Steffy said. "But seeing you with Ethan, you're a good dad." Finn drew her in closer. "And you're an amazing mom and wife. We got through Sheila, Luna, everything. We'll get through this." Their kiss was sweet and reaffirming. The secret had rocked them, but not shattered them. Secrets were constantly revealed in the bold and the beautiful universe. But true, tested love endured. Finn Finnegan had discovered the hard way that life rarely predicts its turning moments in advance. Most days at the hospital followed a predictable pattern. Early rounds, challenging diagnoses, and tiny successes that justified the long hours. On this particular morning, however, something in the air felt odd, as if the universe had silently changed while he was unaware. He attempted to ignore it by immersing himself in charts and patient notes, but the discomfort persisted like a persistent pain. The Los Angeles sun was already high when he stepped outside for a brief break, shining off glass skyscrapers and passing cars. Finn embraced the warmth, thinking it would calm his mind. That was when he noticed her. She stood across the street, partially obscured by a row of parked automobiles, her posture stiff and hesitant. Finn briefly wondered whether his mind was playing tricks on him. He hadn't seen her in years, since he'd told himself that chapter of his life was officially over. Nonetheless, she remained identifiable over time.
Poppy.
His ex-girlfriend appeared different, more mature in subtle ways, yet her eyes had the restless intensity he remembered so well. Finn's first inclination was to turn away. Whatever had led her here couldn't be good, and he wasn't sure he was willing to rehash wounds he'd worked so hard to mend. But before he could flee, she spotted him. Their gazes locked, and the moment stretched, heavy with memories neither of them had asked for. Poppy stopped before crossing the street, each step cautious, as if preparing for impact. "Finn," she whispered softly when she approached him. He swallowed.
Poppy.
"What are you doing here?" She looked around, apparently uneasy.
Can we talk?
"Somewhere private." Every reasonable part of him shouted nay. His life was complicated enough, without any surprises from his background. Still, there was something in her voice, an eagerness that made it tough to dismiss her completely. He gestured to a quiet bench near the hospital's garden. They sat in silence for a few seconds, the sound of traffic filling the gap between them. Poppy twisted her hands together and took a big breath. "I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important," she told me. "I know I don't have the right to just show up like this." Finn leaned back, arms folded. "So, why did you?" Her eyes shifted to his face, searching. "Because there is something you should know. Something I should have told you a long time ago." His stomach constricted. "You're scaring me." "Good," she replied, a sorrowful smile on her lips. Finn felt irritated. "Because I've been terrified for years." "Poppy, if this is about the past, it is," she replied gently. "However, it is also about the present. And the future." She stopped, as if considering whether to continue. Finn had a startling realization that after she said the following words, nothing would be the same. "When we broke up," she explained gently, "I found out I was pregnant. The world seems to tilt." Finn stared at her, unable to understand what she had just spoken. "That's not funny," he said. "I'm not joking." Her voice quivered, but her gaze never left his. "Finn, I was pregnant. With your child." The city's sounds receded to a distant roar. "No," he muttered. "That cannot be true. You would have told me." "I wanted to," she responded swiftly. "I tried calling you, but you had already moved on. You were starting your profession and establishing your life. I was afraid I'd wreck everything." Anger erupted, fierce and unexpected. "So you opted to delete me from the equation?" Tears welled in her eyes. "I thought I was doing the right thing." Finn took a few steps back before returning his gaze to her. You don't get to make that decision for me. I had the right to know. I know, she replied. And I apologize. I've lived with that guilt every day. He ran a hand through his hair, attempting to calm his racing mind. So, why now? Why tell me this after so many years? Poppy drew in another big breath. Because our daughter is sick. The words were more powerful than any accusation. What about our daughter? She's 17, Poppy added, her voice barely above a whisper. Finn felt his knees weaken and sat back down. Her name is Luna. Images invaded his head, including missed birthdays, first steps, and other moments he had no idea existed. What is wrong with her? She has a heart condition, Poppy explained. It is genetic. Finn's training kicked in despite the shock. Doctors believe she may need a transplant in the future. Have they conducted all necessary tests? Family history can be important. That is why I am here, she stated. They need additional information. He closed his eyes, feeling both sorrow and disbelief. You're asking me to step into a life I didn't even know existed. I'm not asking for anything, Poppy answered with a laugh. I just needed you to know the truth. Silence returned, heavier than before. Finn's thoughts jumped forward to the ramifications.
He was married now.
He had duties, and his life was built on trust and honesty. How was he expected to explain that? How could he reconcile the guy he thought he was with the father he never knew he had? I don't even know what to say, he said. Poppy nodded. I wouldn't expect you to. He examined her face for any signs of lying, but found only fear and remorse. I need proof, he said finally. I need to know this is real. I understand, she said. I've got records. Test results. Everything. Finn exhaled slowly. Does Luna know about me? Poppy shakes her head. She is aware that her father was not present, but I have never explained why. I didn't want her to feel unwanted. A piercing sorrow ran through his chest. Does she hate me? No, Poppy replied gently. She is curious. And afraid. Finn stared out over the hospital, where he had spent his life helping people. He now faced his own wound, one that threatened to rip apart everything he knew about his past. I need time, he explained. Take all the time you need, Poppy said. I'll be here. Finn went about his business as if he were a ghost for the following few days. He checked patients, reassured them, and signed off on charts, all while replaying Poppy's comments in his thoughts. At night, sleep evaded him as he pictured a teenage girl with his eyes and charm battling a battle he should have known about. Finally, he consented to meet Luna. They found a quiet cafe away from the hospital. Finn arrived early, nervous. When the door opened and Luna entered, his breath caught. She was definitely his. She smiled sheepishly. Hi. Hi, he said, his voice thick. They spoke clumsily at first, hovering around safe themes. Luna inquired about his career, specifically what it was like to be a doctor. Finn responded, amazed at her brilliance and warmth. Regardless of the circumstances, there was an instant and irrefutable bond. I always wondered about you, Luna confessed. Who you were. I wondered too, Finn admitted, though he'd never realized it until now. Finn grew more involved in her care over time, advocating for the finest treatment options and pressing colleagues to investigate every alternative. He also had the difficult duty of disclosing his secret to the people in his life. The revelation shattered his world, but it also transformed it. Conversations were difficult, trust was strained, and emotions ran high. Despite this, Finn refused to walk away again. One evening, when he sat with Luna in a hospital room, she stared at him with quiet strength. I'm glad you're here, she replied. So am I, he responded, fully aware of it. Poppy watched from the doorway, tears in her eyes, knowing that, while the secret had caused her much sorrow, it had also opened the door to something genuine. Finn wasn't sure what the future held. He simply knew that the past no longer held as much power over him. He had a daughter, an opportunity to put things right, and the determination to face whatever lay ahead. Life, he understood, did not always provide second chances. They rarely came for free. but sometimes they were worth everything.